we're going to get on to another topic here at the podcast, guys. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, show your support. Your boys are out here working and giving you all we can to help you out in the dating world and in the male development world. So, do long distance relationships work?
I would never get into one. You know what I think is a situation that some guys go through when they're younger. The first case of the long-term relationship scenario is when you're in high school and then the girl goes to college or you go to a different college or whatever the case is. That's like, I think, the first scenario that guys have where they're put in that scenario. Because I think most guys wouldn't even bother with a long-term relationship. But that does happen. And what ends up happening, the girl goes to college and she ends up getting dug out by an endless amount of guys. And that's usually where the relationship ends.
Exactly.
Or they go, or, the guy goes to the military. There's a million different ways this could go. Once you're separated by states, honestly, I wouldn't even want to date a girl that lives like a couple hours away. I think that's already too much to deal with, driving back and forth and all that stuff. But if she's in another state, I wouldn't even bother with it. Maybe like a one-night stand or something like that. But can you imagine dating a girl that, like, knowing she's like 5 states away?
I'm on board with you. I don't agree that long-distance relationships work. Whoever's trying to convince you that long-distance relationship works, maybe you know someone that is in a long-distance relationship, it doesn't work. That eventually falls apart some way, somehow. You want someone that's going to be within your radius, per se, where you typically live, maybe 5, 10, 15 miles away.
30 minutes, I think, is like the cutoff.
Right, but not where she's or he's, for, women as well. Hours away, states away, another country. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense. It's a waste of time. Cut that out. You're wasting time, and you could be putting time to someone else that's great, that's in your area. You could be throwing away an opportunity with a woman that's, maybe you know her from work. Maybe she's in a friend group that you both share. There's a variety of things, and it just doesn't make sense to go off and dealing with someone else that's at least, as you mentioned, more than a half hour away.
Yeah, because, number one, you're not going to see each other often if you're in another state. 2, women constantly need, like, somebody to spend time with them and call them, text them, FaceTime. They need that, like, stimulation. They're going to get it somewhere else. Cheating is like, that's a given. Like, I would assume if somebody told me they're in a long distance relationship, one or of the other people or both of them are cheating. I don't care what anybody says. Especially if you're only, I mean, think about how often can you see each other if you're a couple states away?
Maybe
every couple months,
a couple times a year, or a few times a year, where someone travels down for a few days.
Another one. Right now we're talking about states. Some people talk to people that are in another country.
Yeah.
2 girls come to mind right now that are, I don't know if they're considered official or not or whatever, but they're seeing somebody in a completely another country, and they actually go to that extent of traveling back and forth. Sometimes the girl goes there, sometimes the guy comes here. And what's going to be the end result of that?
It doesn't look good.
Somebody's going to cheat sooner or later.
Because the thing is that women crave attention.
How dare you?
And sometimes it's not just about wanting someone to be around to have a relationship or that sort of thing. Women just crave attention. So they need somebody nearby to be able to at least keep them going, keep them entertained, keep them in the flow, and be attending to their needs, whether physical, emotional, mental, whatever it is. Someone has to be around. And it's not going to work if you have someone in, let's say, New York, and you're looking over at someone in Italy. You may have that relationship, but again, how long will it last? It's only
I would say the only
with
exception
time,
now.
it's going to be gone.
This isn't really a relationship, but something that's pretty common nowadays is sugar babying. So you got like these guys that are paying for women that don't live anywhere near them, and they fly in and do their thing and they leave. I guess that's about the only exception I could think of. If you're like a sugar daddy type and you pay a woman to fly, I wouldn't do that again myself. But for anybody that would get into a long-term relationship, whether it's a man or a woman, I don't see that anything good. You're going to deal with cheating. You trust issues and all that stuff. Forget about it. And in the end, just the whole logistics of the whole thing of visiting each other, I think the whole thing is just pointless to me.
There's a lot of distractions, and part of those distractions, it's not that they work different jobs in other countries or in different states or whatever the case is. It's the fact that there's going to be other people around these women. There's going to be other men hitting on these women, and you're going to be on the other side of the world or on the other side of the country or maybe a few states away. You won't be able to have as much control as if you're living with or nearby that person, guy or girl. It's just what it is.
Yeah. 30 minutes, I would say, is the max. You don't want to have to drive an hour, 2 hours every single time. You definitely don't want somebody in another state and another country. I don't even know why people would bother. Some people do this stuff. Like even having this conversation, it sounds ridiculous, but people actually have these type of relationships.
You have to be really loyal to have that long distance relationship.
Yeah.
You have to be really committed to the relationship. And again, some people are, but we're not talking about the exception. We're talking about the majority.
Yeah.
And the majority, it's not going to work for them.
No.
Not at all.